Yeah, welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. And I've asked you, some of you, to put up your story on Facebook for us if you've ever employed the services of land guards, or whether or not through their help you've been robbed of your property. I have in the studio at the moment Timothy Anidoho, who's the Greater Accra Regional Manager, Client Service and Access Unit at the Lands Commission. You're welcome, sir, and thank you very much for your time here on the Pulse.
Thank you very much.
This issue, will it ever go away?
Well, we might not be able to eradicate it completely, but we can make an effort at reducing it to the barest minimum. Where
the barest minimum means?
Would be, if you find out your story, you see that the emphasis seems to be on Accra, the urban areas. So it seems to be a canker that rests with the urban areas.
Okay.
So once urbanization comes, there's pressure on land, then it leads to other things.
Right.
So in areas where there's no pressure, you don't see problems like this.
I see.
So, but I think some things can.
Can you take us through briefly the processes of registering a land, or whatever you have to do that helps you to claim ownership of a piece of land?
Okay.
Briefly.
All right. So if you see a parcel of land and you are interested in it, the first thing you do is you have a site plan. The site plan will be a drawing with certain grid lines on it that will tell you what exactly that parcel of land is. And once you have that, you come and do a search with the Lands Commission. You are in every region, so we have records there. Once that is done, then you can enter. You get an agreement between the two parties, you and then the landowner. You have an agreement, you come. That's what we popularly call the indenture. The parties will sign it, and then there are certain things that should be done. An oath of proof will be done at the courts. Then you come and submit it for stamp duty. Then you come and submit it for registration. This is in brief, what the process.
Okay, so you first of all, when you see a land you're interested in, that you get a site plan.
Yes.
You get the indenture.
Yes.
The two of you sign on the indenture,
yes,
and then you come to register.
But when you get the site plan, you do a search. What often happens is that as soon as the people see the land is available, the landowner says, pay me money for a site plan, you pay, the indenture is done. So by the time you are coming for registration, you will not have done some initial searches.
Okay.
So then you come for registration, and then you find out that there are problems, and then the thing escalates. So
but then the issue also has been that the amount of time it takes if you have to come through the commission. I mean, it takes so long, and it's not the person's fault. You go back and your land has been sold again.
Yes, but I believe that the commission will take responsibility for where it has to be. I often set examples. If you go to areas where mostly government allocates land, once they give it to giftee, it stays to be giftee's. Even if it takes 10 years to complete it, still giftee is assured that that land is for her. She's not so much in a hurry. The problem is where there are disputes. Then giftee wants to quickly complete it because she wants to have a certain security of tenure. That is no excuse for the delays that may happen in our system. So Lands Commission has done some process re-engineering. Okay. So from 2015, we have rearranged our processes. Commonly in Accra, where land title takes place, we used to do what title registration used to be, certain processes. You submit your document, you get what we call the yellow card, which was just evidence of submission. Yeah. The next thing you do is that you then go to the site with a government surveyor, but that will be facilitated by the applicant. So if you get the yellow card and you go and sleep at home, time is counting against the commission, yet the applicant may not have come for that second survey to be done. Then there's another process of paying for what they call advertisement in the newspapers and title plan search. All these things are done by the applicant facilitating it. So if he pays for the yellow card and he goes to sleep, he's still counting the time. He's expecting the Lands Commission to produce his document, yet we are also waiting for you to come. So in 2015, we re-engineered the process, where now the process is done in such a way that once you have all your documents together, you submit it to Lands Commission. You pay all your fees upfront. Once you pay those fees upfront, and you're expecting Lands Commission, then we could then commit to a period of, say, 3 months.
Okay.
Not say 3 months, 3 months. That 3 months has been challenged by the current minister, John Peter Mehu, that you can do better. People need documents quickly to facilitate business, so it must be done in 1 month. That's what we are working on now, based on the policy direction from the minister. So we are working to a period where we believe, as a commission, when you submit your documents in 1 month, you should be able to get some results.
Sounds like a dream, to be quite frank.
That dream is a dream that the Lands Commission must achieve, and we admit that because of the baggage we carry from our past experience. When you tell people, the thing is that, oh, it's a dream.
It's true. So hold on for me, sir. Yes. I'll come back to you. But yes. I have on the phone line Francis Azugba. He's a private, he's into real estate, yes. He's a private developer with the MD of Classic Construction, actually. Sir, thank you very much for your time here. We just heard from the Lands Commission's representative, the processes. You know, the lay down processes that are recognized, you know, by the country's laws that you go through. Does that reflect what you have been through?
Oh, yes, yes. These are some of the issues that we are country in Ghana here. You know, Ghana here, when somebody stole a chicken, right, he's going to go to the prison as a criminal. But when somebody
okay, can you say that again?
I mean, when somebody steals a chicken, right? Mm-hmm. He's been taken to the prison as a criminal, right?
Okay.
But when somebody embezzles money from Bank of Ghana, he's been treated as, he's been called as a corruption.
Okay, so the point is...
I'm just almost at the studio. I'm just almost at the studio right now. I'm the MD of Classic Construction.
Yes, but so what point were you trying to make with that analogy?
There are mafias in this country. Serious mafias, we call ourselves Christians. When you go to the land tax department, right? Mm-hmm. There are people there who can just take your original copy of your land tax or whatever, the yellow card, and then the indentures, they will take the original off and then replace somebody's one. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Good. So there are good people there. There are also bad people there.
So what people take your documents and they imitate your documents?
Good. So what happened? Yes. They took my uncle's document. My uncle is having land right now. I'm the caretaker of the land, right? Mm-hmm. They took the original document from there, and then they replaced. Somebody also bought the land again. They said that if the custodian sold the land to another person, and then the second person's document was original. I also was original.
Wow.
So it's like two original documents, one land.
Wow. So what did you do about it?
So what it is that the second person have money more than me. You know, in Africa, in Ghana here, when you are poor, nobody wants to listen to your case. We went to the police station, we were reported, up to now it was a fiasco, we have to forget the land. So the second person took over.
Wow.
So the custodians of the land too, the custodian, the chief, they also have to be free for the average Ghanaian.
Right. Let me just take a quick response to that from the representative in the studio. That's something that happens often?
Well, no, not often. He starts and gives us the picture of how things work. The custodian gave it to him. Mm-hmm. The custodian gave it to somebody else. And I'm happy he doesn't end by saying the Lands Commission then either misplaced or threw his document away. They then went to report to the police. The police will now say, both of you have your documents. Maybe you need to litigate for us to find who the real owner is, because the custodian has given two documents.
But the problem then comes from what he is explaining.
Yes.
The problem appears to be coming from the Lands Commission, because there's someone takes your document and imitates it.
No, he was saying we received two different documents. Okay. He had submitted an original document. Then he went on to say the custodian also gave an original document to the other party.
How can you have two different documents that are original?
So it works that if somebody is a custodian of a land, he prepares documents for everybody. He sees, the same parcel of land, he can prepare 6 documents for 6 different people. That's how it works. Mm. So the person who is preparing the document, that's why I started setting example with the government land and the areas where they have records and controlled records. Once you give plot X to Mr. Y, that ends the matter. Why would you give that same plot to Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. D, and Mr. E?
But why would the system, the Lands Commission, not make it absolutely impossible for the existence of 2 documents that are both original?
You are talking about documents that are prepared by private persons. Lands Commission is not the party of the preparation of those documents. Those documents preparation are governed by our conveyancing decree. There's no law that prevents a professional lawyer or a professional conveyancer to prepare documents for parties. Lands Commission doesn't guarantee who is the owner of a title. It registers a contract between 2 parties.
So when you register one,
so we register one, we will register a second one there again.
So how then do they get original result?
No, but what is saying that the original documents, as in original documents from a certain stool. But when you get a land title certificate, you can get only one over one parcel of land, and the matter ends there.
Okay. I don't know if I still have you on the line, sir. Do I? Okay. It seems we don't have him. He wasn't on his way here actually, but it seems he's running a delay.
Yesterday I tried to show something, and if you give me the chance to
Please.
do so.
In the meantime, whilst you open up your you open your document, I think I have him on the phone. Were you listening to our conversation, sir? Okay, I don't have him at the moment.
Just quickly, I just want to say, this will be an indenture from some stool or some family.
Okay.
This same indenture may, if the stool decides to be dishonest, give the same thing to 2, 3, 4 different people.
Okay.
So you submit it to the Lands Commission for registration. The law says the first in time to lodge his document is the one that the Lands Commission must ensure his registration is done.
Okay.
So when you are submitting your documents at the beginning, Lands Commission can receive 4 of this. During the process, it investigates the title and finds out who received first, and then goes ahead and completes this and gives you a title certificate. Once you have a land title certificate, Lands Commission cannot produce 2 of this on the same parcel of land. Okay. It's impossible by law. So it's the transformation from this to this. That's where often the problem is.
I see.
Where the stools or the granting family. So if a family gives only this to one person, even if he sleeps on his rights and keeps it for 10 years or 15 years, you are sure when he comes to register it, you find no contrary document there. The problem is if the people granting the land decide to go behind them and then act separately, then the problem.
I think we do have the private developer still on the line. Sir, were you listening to the explanation that we're getting from the Lands Commission's representative?
Yes, please. I'm listening to him well.
Okay.
Can I please ask him one question?
Go ahead.
Good. I want to ask him how many custodians do you have for each land that is registered under the Constitution of Ghana here in their office?
Okay.
How many custodians hold one land? How hold the land stock?
The answer for this.
He's answering you.
The answer for this lies in the Constitution itself. And when you look at Article 11 of the Constitution, it states the types of laws in this country and adds that customary law is part of our laws in this country. So every part of parcel of land in this country where there's a customary land ownership has armed headship. However, those authorities need to come to the Lands Commission to get their interest registered. So Lands Commission, the answer to his question is that we have registered all those who have come to the commission to register. So it's a register that is building on. If you want and you come, we register for you. So we don't have a list that we are. It's not compulsion. It's demand driven. Yes.
Okay, that works for you, right?
And the second one is, do they still have the Guru boys in the offices or they have?
Do they still have the Guru boys?
Yes.
The Guru boys are around, or they are not no more there.
You know, because our systems have been cumbersome over the years, we must admit that most people are reluctant to come there themselves, or they don't have the time. Gifty doesn't have the time. So I want to let somebody help me. Those are the people that have been tamed, the Guru boys. They are not people who are sanctioned.
Usually when we say, I mean in Ghana, usually when we say we're talking about Guru boys, we know that there are people who know people on the inside.
Yes.
So they are the people who hold your hand and take you to places.
So you don't need somebody necessary to take your hand. Everywhere that there's a Guru boy, there's an office where you can go to. And Lands Commission,
all the boys know the people in charge.
Yes, but I'm saying that it's because the fact that our systems have been cumbersome over the years. So people are tempted to use them. Okay. When we improve our systems, as we are going to, why would you use a Guru boy if you know that in 1 month you get your certificate back, as the minister has directed?
Can we talk about the timelines?
Yes.
Because it looks like solving the problems, one major part of solving the problem
is the timelines.
It's improving on the system. And you keep mentioning. What's the timeline?
We've moved from a 0 timeline to 2015, a 3-month timeline, to currently working on a 1-month timeline by the minister's directive.
So if I submit my indenture, for example, I bring this
everything is in 1 month's time. You should know whether it's registrable or not. If it's registrable, you should be able to be expecting your certificate to be done. That's what we are working towards now.
Okay, Mr. Azugba, let me ask you: do you engage the services of land guards?
Oh, several times. We know this. Our construction job used to go to site every day. Even yesterday we were at Asharaja, Masama South there. We went to work there yesterday. Immediately you put your fingers on the ground, you have to pay 150 Ghana cedis. That is digging fee.
You pay 150 cedis when you put your fingers on the ground.
For digging fee.
Digging fee.
Yes.
And after digging fee, what else do you pay?
After digging fee, I think when you are there, they have something that you have to call the linguist for the chief.
The linguist for the chief.
Yeah.
How much is that one?
I think that one is from your own heart. Whatever you get, you give them. That's all.
So how much have you given?
So I assuming you pay like let's say 300 Ghana cedi within.
And then after that, there's something else to pay?
After that, they will be guiding you. They say that they're a land guard guiding that land, that territory. So they will be guiding you now. It's not fair. It's sorry for that.
But it does. I mean, for a private developer, that is no money, is it?
You know what?
That is no money. That money, I mean, if that you're talking about like 450 cedis, that's no money, is it?
It's the money to me, my dear. It's the money to me. Everybody accounts for every money on this side.
But to what extent have they been violent?
You know, the violence is that if you don't have the money instant to pay them, they can brutalize you. Okay. Some of them sleep in the cemetery. Some of them are they are ignorant. They don't go to school. They don't know their left and right. They don't have any trade. So this is what they do free for living. They call it, that's the job code they have given them. We have the experience on the ground. We can. So the scenario, some of the security personnel, some officers are good. Some are very, 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 very good.
Okay. Have you had cause to report this to the police before? And what did the police do?
Oh, it depends on your parents. When you go to the police station, you are full of money. Nobody will mind you. But when you're in a car, they will think, oh, boss is coming. They say that boss will welcome. They will take you. But when you wear this something like Calabar slippers and you're a singlet from side, nobody will listen to you. So, my friend, just thank God for your life. Go home.
What do you think? What do you think can help solve the problem? If you were perhaps the president calls you and asks you for your suggestion, what would you say?
To me, what can help to ask the problem is that let's all, the chief, the one in the office, the police officer, the big man, the small one, let's make our mind that we are serving the mother Ghana, we are serving each other. Yeah.
I mean that's what's supposed to be done. But if you were to give practical, suggestions like let's do this exactly, and that if we do that, the system will be better. Do you have anything like that?
Or if I have the chance to speak to the Minister of Interior or the IGP, I will tell them that they should focus and send a BN investigator to go underground there, and then investigate the inspectors on the district command. They should go and pass underground and investigate them. Because it's not easy, every information, like me, for instance, a lay Ghanaian, I cannot go and knock in the IGP's office and the door will be open to me. Can you please get me? That's the reality in Ghana.
Okay.
Did you please get me?
Yeah, I get you.
You're not really to listen to an average Ghanaian who is walking on the ground with a Chalawate who is having very tough and a very, very, very serious, vital information to give them.
I get
but
you.
But after V8, they look at the criteria of person coming to them. They look at your criteria, the personality coming to them.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right. Sir, thank you very much for your time here on the show. Francis Azugba is the Managing Director for Classic Construction. He's a private developer sharing with us his own experiences. So, I mean, I know when it comes to the law enforcement, that's certainly not your area, but how do you collaborate with the police to deal with this problem?
The police have what they call the Property Fraud Unit. When the reports are made to them, they come and do searches at the Lands Commission. We've put those searches on a fast-track line so that we can be sure to quickly present and give them the results that they require. Lands Commission's way of also helping solve these problems, as you discussed earlier on, is ensuring that people can register their things quickly. When it's done quickly, it gives a certain security of tenure. But he tells you that anytime we discuss land guard, I say there's no job like a land guard. There's some crime that's associated with the land guardism. And therefore, as long as the courts can collaborate with the police, can ensure that people like that are off the street, then the matter is resolved. But once the guy comes, he threatens lives, he goes, he comes back the next day, and he's walking around the same place, then the developer feels threatened by it. So it's a collaboration. Lands Commission has its role, will play its role, the police will play their role. I believe the courts also would have a responsibility towards it, and then we can all deal with this menace.
Finally, I've heard that there are instances where you could have people conflicting reports from the courts. So you have a court that's allowing someone to own a piece of land, and then you have this maybe a different court.
As time has passed, the courts have their judgment in silos. So when you are passing a judgment in one court, you are not privy to what is going on in another court. So what happens is that sometimes, as officers at Lands Commission, we receive one court directing do X for Mr. A, the other court directing that do Mr. A. So what we do is that we send it back to the Judicial Secretary today. Let us know which one to act by, because some come with a mandamus, plot a document, do X, but they conflict. That's why under the Land Administration Project, what they are trying to do is digitize the court's judgment so that the judges also can be privy, because sometimes just lack of knowledge about what your brother is doing in another court.
So in that case, when you, how is the system structured so that the judges will know?
Every land dispute will come in a defined area, so it will have a site plan. All the judges want to know is check in our records and see if there's been any judgment in this area and how it relates to that particular parcel of land. Once he has that on his table, I believe the judges are more than competent to do the right.
Do you sometimes feel a sense of hopelessness in this situation?
I would have
as a person.
I would have felt so if I was not part of what is going on now. And I feel very optimistic that whilst you keep holding us by the standards that we claim we have, and whilst we look at the future, I'm very optimistic. There's a Ghana Enterprise Land Information Systems which is coming up, which is digitizing some part of our records. We believe that all those things would help us go forward to be a better commission and to serve the public better.
I hope so, and I hope that my viewers can share in your optimism. I don't really know, but sometimes when you hear the stories, it's so daunting, it's so intimidating that you hardly know what to believe.
But there's hope. I believe when people, Lands Commission even has started a new client service. I don't know how many people even have come to test it, because people still have the view that it's an old dingy place. You have 4 different divisions, so we invite them, come test it. We might not be perfect, but we are moving. We've recognized that we need to move to a more efficient Lands Commission. That's what we are working towards.
Certainly, with all the money that we pay, you have to be efficient. You don't have a choice. Thank you very much for coming through. He's the Greater Accra Regional Manager for Client Service and Access Unit at the Lands Commission. His name is Timothy Anyidoho. Thank you very much for coming once again. Now, everyone hopes for a healthy life, but not everyone is lucky to have it. And that includes some persons living with disability who are often confronted with the complications of their disabilities as well as social stigma. But one organization is making sure that some persons living with disability are able to overcome their deformities and eliminates the social stigma that comes with it. Beryl Richter has more in this report.
For more than 10 years, 30-year-old Samuel Oforibuafo has battled with clubfoot and polio. The situation left him dejected as he was abandoned by his friends and was forced to drop out of school.
Life is better now. At first, I was always left at home. But for the intervention of the Salvation Army, I don't know what would have become of me. I couldn't play and mingle with friends.
Samuel called the Salvation Army Rehabilitation Center at Pegro in the Eastern Region home for many years as doctors there treated him. One of the officers at the facility, Eric Entry, recalls when Samuel was first handed to doctors for treatment.
Oforibuafo came to Salvation Army at the infancy age with a diagnosis of clubfoot and polio. And through the Salvation Army, we did the therapy sessions and he was able to walk a bit, but it was not all that good. And he went back and came with a lot of financial issues, which they were not able to get access to money to contribute to the surgery. Through the Salvation Army, they did a surgery on the leg.
After years of treatment, Samuel is back on his feet and looks forward to excelling in his carpentry business.
I don't have any help. I am therefore appealing for support to set up my own carpentry workshop.
Samuel's story is similar to many more at the facility. 8-year-old Adoma Boatin is battling with cerebral palsy. Her grandmother, Agnes Aku, narrates the challenges she has to put up with daily. She is unable to do anything on her own. The best she can do when she falls down is to sit. She can't hold things. She is also unable to eat unless I feed her. Over the years, Salvation Army Community Rehabilitation Center has provided outpatient services to children and adults living with disability in the district and other communities. The center, which was established over 35 years ago, also has an on-site integrated school for children with disability in the district. Managers rely on support from Salvation Army International and the benevolence of other donors to keep the center running. That is why the support of one such donor, Lena Clark Foundation, comes in handy. Pamela Odre, a representative of the foundation, says the organization is optimistic of making bigger donations to the facility in the future. On such occasions, no one is happier than the children here at the center.
We are presenting all these things to these lovely kids. We hope that next time we'll come again to make it bigger and better.
We want to say a very big thanks to you. We are very grateful for all you have done for us, and we wish you will come back and give us more than what you have given us, and God bless you.
Many people living with disabilities in Ghana are often resigned to a life of stigma. But clearly, in the Begro community in the Eastern region, the social stigma attached to disability is virtually non-existent thanks to the intervention of Salvation Army Community Rehabilitation Center. For Joy News, Beryl Richton.